This video is about the MakerPlot logging menu. The logging menu has to do with both data files and message files. We'll be concentrating almost exclusively on data files because message files are things that occur usually on an event basis that are hard to predict. Let's take a look at the choices we have here: open data file, open message file, plot from data log, plot from data log using time. These two are very interesting. We're going to get into those as soon as we plot some data. And where it says plot data log using time has to do with our next choice, which is checked, which is timestamp data and messages. Now this is checked because all the samples that are coming in, both data and messages, will be stamped with the date and time that they occurred. This is very good for historical purposes, since logging data is one of those things where you really want to know when you log the data, and timestamping each sample, that is, with the date and time, are quite important. Then we have the standard, the save data to file, delete data file, save message to file, delete message file. Then we have a series of 3 auto save snapshots and prints. Here we can auto save a plot file at maximum either time or data points, auto snapshot at maximum time or data points, auto print at maximum time or data points, and those choices, whether they be data points or time, are selected here. And that is base auto actions on points if not flushing, or as it's checked now, base auto actions on time. So we're going to leave it set at time for this video tutorial, although the same thing can be true if you check the box regarding basing your automatic saves or snapshots or prints on the maximum points. Okay. Let's get into plotting some data. So what we want to do is come back up here and open our data file. And we notice that the data file is already open. We also notice that the data file is sdat, which we set up. I'm going to drop this, which we set up here in our configuration menu. Notice in our configuration menu, we already set up a file name called sdat.txt. and one for a message file called msg.txt. This, of course, can be changed. You can change this at any time in the configuration menu, but this is what was set up. So those are where we actually set up our names, right here in the configuration menu file. Let's begin by plotting some data. And turn on our plots, and here comes some data. And right now we are plotting 10 analog channels of sine waves and 8 channels of digital data. And our time frame right now here is 0 to 30 seconds. So right now this data is just going along without being logged, so we want to do that. So let's come up to the logging menu, come down here to save data to file, and we can also do this with a control key if we want, but we'll click on it. So we're going to click save data to file, come back up here to our logging menu again, and now we have our save data to file checked. What this means is right now, as long as this item is checked, we are saving this data to a file. So let's now uncheck it. That means the data that has just gone on has been saved to a file. So let's open the data file. And there it is. There's a lot of data there, both analog and digital. So let's examine it. And to examine it, let's come up here to the first entry, if you will, so we can see really what's going on. What we have here is the date, and then the time, and that time is in hours, minutes, seconds, and fractions of seconds. And then we have right here where it says 7.810, that is the time into the plot in thousandths of a second. So this particular sample was taken at this date, this time, and the sample is 7.810 seconds into the plot. The next entry, which are 8 ones and zeros, is our digital data. The following entries are the 10 analog channels that we are plotting right now. So this is the first sample that we took of our digital and analog data. Let's go down to the next one, and as we see, here's the same date and time with a slightly different fraction of seconds here. Now we're 7.890 seconds into the plot. A little bit different digital data and analog data, of course, and then as we go down, we get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the logging of our data. So that's how to interpret the data log that we have saved right now under the file name sdat.txt. So now that we have some data under our belt, let's try and plot it. Okay, we do this, we come down here, and let's choose sdat, which is a file that we just saved, and there comes our data. And it's somewhat compressed because it doesn't have all the delays involved in it that it normally did when it was coming in. But this is the raw data, and what we can do is we can come up here to the time toolbar and actually expand this out, and this is the data that we saved. And here we can come along and analyze it. If we want, we can use the move tools, the shifting tools, to analyze it. Okay, coming back up to the logging menu, one of the other choices was plot from data log using time. So what does that really mean? Well, what we can do with the data that we just displayed in our previous choice, we can now display it in historical terms, but first we have to have our real-time time base turned on. So let's drop this, go into our choice of configuration, go into and find real time. We'll click on real time and click set. So now we're going to plot in real time. Come back to our logging menu. Choose plot from data using time. Click on stat data again. And now we have a plot of the data that occurred and when it occurred. So we'll notice in our time frame here that this is when the data was actually plotted. Let's come back to a feature that we talked about previously, and that is our auto save plot file at max. If this is checked, what it will do is it will save all of the analog and digital data that is being plotted right now to a file, and it will save that data automatically every time that the plot goes to the very maximum time on our screen, which is right now set at 30 seconds. So if we check this box, which we'll do now, and come back and verify that it's checked, the next time that our data comes to the very, very end of our maximum time, it's going to generate a file with a .plt extension. Okay, it just went there. We can find those files under the File menu under OpenPlot, and there it is. There is our A save with the date and time tag to it, so we know when the file was saved. And this feature will save a file every time that the data gets to the very, very end, like it's going to do now. So let's just wait for that. All right, there we have a new file saved at a slightly different time. So once again, we can use this to replot our data. Let's turn off the data plotting and also reset it. And let's bring up the file, at least one of the files that we just did. So we're going to come in here. Let's bring up the last file. And there's our data. And with that data, we can come in here to our player function and play it back. Pausing it, playing it, pausing it, playing it, and so forth. So it's a very, very powerful tool in our logging menu. Now we can also do the same thing with Auto Snapshot at Max. Here we can click the Auto Snapshot at Max, and every time the plot comes to the very end, it will take a snapshot. So that'll give us an indication of the file in a kind of a JPEG format. Thirdly, we can click this, and it will then auto print at max so that we can have a printout every time that the plot reaches the max. Kind of be careful of this because it's really going to chew up a lot of paper if you do. Then we can also change the fact that we can base our maximum on either points or on time. Right now we're set to time, but we can check this box. And the next time our auto save or snapshot or print functions are active, they will automatically save at the maximum number of data points set in our configuration menu, which is 3000 in this case. Finally, we can identify these various choices by the control and shift control keys, which we call hotkeys, and you can find those on our main menu. So rather than coming up here to the logging menu every time to affect these various choices, you can simply use the hotkeys. So that's our logging menu.